Hello, I'm Case Study-Lazich, and I did my case study on the Tide Pod Challenge crisis. To give you some background, the Tide Pod Challenge first started because children were consuming the product. It came out in 2012, and there were about 10,000 toxicology reports done by 2014, which had said that children were consuming Tide Pods. Following that, in 2015, The Onion released a satirical article from the perspective of a young child who was determined to eat one of the Tide Pods. From there, memes were born that said that Tide Pods were a sort of forbidden fruit, that they were delicious but forbidden. And then by early 2018, the first video on YouTube surfaced and the Tide Pod Challenge was born. On here I have a picture example of the article, which is from the point of view of I believe he's a 5-year-old. It's pretty funny, it's a good read. So here's the timeline. So the product was introduced in 2012, and by 2014, 10,000 cases had been reported. 2015, The Onion wrote the article, and it went viral. A lot of people shared it and found it quite amusing. By 2016, Procter & Gamble created a media campaign to spread awareness about the dangers of consuming Tide Pods and why to keep them away from young children. They also worked to redesign the product and made the container a little harder to get into, a little more childproof. By 2017, College Humor, which is a popular YouTube page and a humorous website that has millions of followers, created Don't Eat the Laundry Pods, which was meant to be funny about how you shouldn't eat them, and of course featured someone eating the Tide Pod in the video. This video garnered around 3.5 million views by the end of that year. Going on to December of 2017, someone tweeted out about eating Tide Pods and how it was the new trend of 2018. This post went viral, it had thousands of retweets, and then from there, memes about eating Tide Pods were born. January 2018, the first video of an individual eating a Tide Pod was posted, creating the challenge. Popular social media web pages such as Barstool and Worldstar reshared those videos and garnered millions of views. This encouraged people to try out the challenge and try to get onto these really popular pages for attention. Tide worked on January 12, 2018, shortly after the videos went viral, to stop the trend. They also worked with Google, Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram to censor the hashtags such as Tide Pod Challenge and videos that were put up that garnered millions of views to try to stop the trend. What I have pictured here is a graph showing the prevalence of Tide Pods. Yellow are posts about Tide Pods, the blue are posts about people eating Tide Pods, and then the red are posts about people actually participating in the Tide Pod Challenge. So you can see there's a lot more attention about the jokes, but the actual challenge itself wasn't as big, and it wasn't very long lasting. It lasted until about April, until it completely had died. So some of the organizations that were involved, of course, Procter & Gamble, who owns Tide and sells the pods, they used media campaigns, influencers, and media relations to manage the crisis in a timely fashion. YouTube or Google. So this was the initial platform that the videos sort of exploded. They worked hard to get rid of the videos and take them down. They worked with Tide to help stop this. Twitter and Instagram helped censor the hashtags and worked to take down popular posts, and also worked against the really popular social media sites such as Barstool and Worldstar. Some of the news organizations such as Fox, MSNBC, CNN, all the big ones, they all covered this. That it was a huge story back in the day, well, earlier this year I should say, and they created a lot of articles and broadcasts on the trend, and they really just spread awareness of this issue. So the key publics here, of course, social media influencers such as Gronk, who was hired by Tide, but then also people against them such as Barstool and Worldstar, and then also other people who have a large following who are posting memes about the Tide Pod Challenge and making light of this situation. Additionally, media personalities who would speak on the issue and would either denounce Tide for having a product that looked too much like candy or applauding them for trying so hard to stop it. So these were some of the key publics that Procter & Gamble really tried to reach and influence in some way. So here's a SWOT analysis. So for the internal, for strengths, I have Procter & Gamble is a very established brand in Tide and has a very large budget to help deal with this problem. They can get a message out very quickly to a lot of people using the funds that they have. The weaknesses, it lies within the product itself. The product was similar to candy, and actually making a truly child-proof product is kind of difficult. For opportunities, I had the free press coverage that they got from this. Everyone was covering the story because so many kids were going to the hospital. These videos went viral, and a lot of people were seeing it. So there was a very quick response from Tide to get the media involved, and they really got a conversation going. And there was a willingness of social media platforms to help stop the trend. So there became, as soon as the movement was created, there was a very quick counter movement as well, which was condemning this and saying it was stupid, which is rightfully so. So some threats. Was the incredible rate at which this trend kind of went viral. The challenge, within a matter of a week, had become a huge sensation because of sites such as Barstool and WorldStar sharing it. The ease of content sharing, everyone was able to do the challenge who wanted to and was able to put it out on social media and share it to these big sites and just keep on spreading it. So at the end of the day, the large social media sites that are making the memes and making light of this really can help the problem continue. So some Tide's responses. I said these outreach, preemptive action, and defensive response. For outreach, they used Gronk to help stop the trend. Here's the really short video that they made. So it's very lighthearted. It's simple. It just uses Gronk, his personality. He's a little bit of a party boy. The fact that he is so strongly denouncing it sort of shows kids that maybe this really isn't a good thing to do, and maybe that resonated with them because it helped decrease the number of cases of poisoning. For preemptive action, I said they changed the packaging and they spread awareness of the toxicity. So they really try to make people aware of the dangers of consuming Tide Pods. And then for defensive response, I said they sent spokespeople out to spread the message against the trend. So tactics, for face-to-face, they just got people engaged. They really got an older audience to talk about it and helped the counter movement. For organizational media tactics, it was a press release and Gronk's involvement. That was great for them. It got reposted because Gronk's such a huge celebrity and personality. News media, they sent spokespeople out to represent Tide, inform the public, and really show that they were truly against this trend. As far as advertising promotional, TV ads featured warnings about consuming the product, and the container itself had more warnings as well. So effectiveness of the messaging and the timeliness of it. So they very strongly denounced the challenge, saying that Tide only wanted this to be used for laundry and said that it should be used for nothing else at all. Their messages were very focused on the danger, and their responses were very quick to when this went viral. Some ethical issues. I believe that making their products a little bit too appealing, they should have seen that coming, that kids would have been able to get into it, and it's very toxic. And also, I think they should have addressed packaging sooner as well. This was made in 2012, and 10,000 cases in 2 years is very significant. Some of the legal issues they faced, New York State Senator Brad Holtman wanted to redesign them, the pods themselves, to make them look less appetizing. So what can we learn from this? Tide should have been more proactive in the issue. One was just an issue and kids were getting sick, and it wasn't really a huge news story. They should have worked really hard to rebrand the pods themselves and change the packaging overall, and increase warnings and they get the word out. It wasn't until 2016 they created a media campaign. So the timeliness of the response once it went to a crisis was actually very good. Relating this to chapter 11, you can see like the timeliness of the response is very, very important as far as like the credibility of your organization goes. So their messaging was very clear. When it did go viral, they were absolutely against it, and they used whatever means available to them to stop it. And then number 3, they were effective in what they used, like their media and what influencers they used. So they worked very closely with the social media platforms that were spreading this challenge, and they worked very closely with news organizations to get the word out and to start that counter movement. They also used influencers such as Gronk to stop this trend. That's all. Thank you.